If you want to stop troublesome intrusive thoughts in 3 easy methods, then stick with me, because this is the video for you, and it's just as easy as walking your pet dog, and there's a similarity there too. My name's Nigel Richards, and in 2012 I read a book called The CHIMP Paradox, which gave me a mind model which helped me change my thoughts, feelings, actions, and indeed the rest of my life. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychoanalyst, I am no medical qualified person at all, but I've really taken on board this method, and that's why I'm making these videos, to hopefully help other people like yourself. In this video I'll explain what the mind model is, which part of the mind model is creating these intrusive thoughts, and then I'll give you 3 methods to help control it and reduce the amount of time of your life that is spent troubled by intrusive thoughts. And I truly believe I can do it. The model is called after the book The CHIMP Paradox model, and it involves simplifying the neuroscience of the brain, which is way too far for somebody like myself to understand, simplifying it down into 3 parts. The author, Steve Peters, I'm really thankful for this method because he's made it simple enough for a normal person like me to understand what's going on in their head and the ability to change it. I really compare it to like driving a car, because I've been a driving instructor for the majority of my life. And I think when I see a pupil get into the car and they start the engine and they drive down the road, they don't really need to know what's going on under the bonnet. They don't need to know that the engine's going, the pistons are going up and down, the crankshaft is turning, the gears are turning, and the wheels are moving and driving down the road. They don't need to understand how that actually happens, but they have to understand how to make it happen. And to do that, they just need to know 3 things. They need to know how to select the gear, they need to know how to control the pedals, and they need to know how to control the steering. So we've simplified driving down into 3 things, so everybody who's not a mechanic, who's not an engineer, can drive a car. And this is very, very similar to what Professor Peters has done in this book. He's simplified the neuroscience of the brain down into 3 parts: the human, the chimp, and the computer. He explains these, and he has helped me understand which part is controlling my thoughts at any one time and how to control them to get better results. So let me explain the first part, the human. That's you, and this is the frontal part of your brain there, where you think in facts and figures and truths, and when you're in a relaxed state, that's where you're thinking in the human part of the brain. It's where you want to be most of the time. There's another part called the chimp part. Now this is a protective mechanism that's deep inside our brain, and it receives all the information from our senses, and it analyses the surroundings around us, and it tries its best to keep us safe by assessing the situations which it thinks is dangerous. The other part of the brain is the computer. This is spread throughout your brain. It's a reference center, and it's where your truths of life, your life force, and values, that's where they're stored. And this is very deep sort of meanings of why you think you're on the earth, and what your values are in life. And it's very, very powerful part of the brain. It's 5 times more powerful than the chimp and 10 times more powerful part than the human part of the brain. But that's another subject in its own. Today we want to be talking about that troublesome part which is causing you your intrusive thoughts, and that is the chimp part of the brain. It's what we call the limbic system. If you look, there's a cross-section of a brain, and the limbic system is just right there. And it's that small part of the brain that is a protective system. It's getting all the information from our senses, from the outside world around us, and in split seconds, it's assessing whether there's dangers there or not. If there is very imminent danger, it will knock the human and the computer straight out and take care of the situation. That's if a saber-toothed tiger was jumping at our ancestors when they were living in the jungles years ago. On today's situation, where it's a car driving towards us on the pavement, it will instantly take over and either give you a fight, flight, or freeze reaction. If the danger from the information it receives from the centres is not imminent danger, then it will take a look into the computer part of the brain, and it will then further decide on what action to take. And its action is to give you an emotion, a motive thought. That's where it's coming from. That's where your intrusive thoughts are coming from. It's coming from this primitive limbic part of the brain. It's got 2 purposes in life. 1, to keep us safe. 2, to perpetuate the next generation. Therefore, it's got some very strong drives. And when these drives take us over, or when it looks into the computer and it senses danger in a situation, it's then when it starts to give you black, negative, paranoid thoughts, for a better word. I'm sure you know exactly what I mean by these intrusive thoughts, and they're provided by the limbic part of the brain. So you need to understand when this is taking us over, how to manage it, and this will then decrease your intrusive thoughts. So let me give you 3 subtle methods to try and control this part of the brain better and hopefully control your intrusive thought. The first thing is to realize it's not you. These thoughts are not your thoughts. It is this chimp part of your brain creating them. And once you can separate yourself from that, then you stand a chance of managing it. Think of it like your pet dog, as I mentioned at the beginning. You're walking down the street with your pet dog. You're not responsible for its actions. It may bark at every car. It may leap at every dog. You're not responsible for it. But it is your responsibility to manage it. And it's the same with the limbic, the chimp part of your brain. You need to be able to learn its ways and manage it. When you're walking down the street, if you know your dog leaps at a car, then you start to tighten the leash as the car comes towards us. You need to learn that part of your brain when it's going to take you over, and then just slow everything down. Just pause for a moment when you know these situations are coming. And that will allow the blood flow in your brain then to go to the human part of your brain where you can reason out whether you want to accept these thoughts or not. That's the first step. Realize it's not you. It's a separate, literally a separate entity to you. Secondly, start to learn its ways. Look when it's taking you over. Note down for a week, just note down all the times when it takes you over. Another thing you can do at this stage is name it. Actually give it a name. That will help you separate from it. My chimp's called Clyde, by the way. And by understanding Clyde's ways and means of getting me to do certain actions, we become best friends. And in the chimp paradox, he gives one more method which can start to help manage these thoughts, and it's called the NEAT method. N-E-A-T. N stands for normal. Everybody has this chimp part of the brain, so it's a normal reaction for you to get these intrusive thoughts. E stands for expect. Expect it to happen every day. It's going to happen. But now, hopefully, you will understand it's going to happen and be better able to manage it. A, accept it. Accept that it's taken you over, and try and look at the situation, try and analyse the situation so that you know when it's going to happen again. And then once it has taken you over, if it does, then take care of it. Pause, bring yourself back. Just pause and don't think for a moment, just blank your mind and let the blood flow to the reasoning, human part of your brain. Just for a second. And always remember, with any of these thoughts, you always have a choice. You don't have to accept the thought, you just have a choice. Thank you very much, Clyde. You're really useful, but I don't really need this thought at the moment. Let's carry on with our day. It's very often what I say. Now, if you want to know a little more about it, take a look at my other videos where we go into a little bit more depth of how I've used it and how other people that I've helped have used it. And I really hope that helps you. Please leave me any comments below, and I'll try and do videos on any other part of the brain or the model that I know. Thank you.